Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dreams and Day Jobs podcast, where we talk about dreams and day jobs and everything in between. I am one of your hosts, Travis, with my man right here.
What's up? I'm Jeff. You already know. Dreams and Day Jobs, episode 26. 26 weeks, dude.
6. You may say 26 is nothing, but we say 26 is something.
Halfway to 52. A year, so
Year straight.
we're rolling.
Yeah.
You know?
It's awesome, man.
I always say this, dude, but like, just being able to say, you know, even if I don't see you all week, even if I'm not really, you know, even if other things in my life haven't been consistent, which you know, they haven't, I'm saying even if they weren't, like, I just love that we just this is consistent.
Yeah, me too, bro. Like, after it all, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this is one of the most consistent things in my life right now, besides, like, me and other things, but, like, in the sense of, like, ventures and, like, things we're doing, like, entrepreneurial stuff that we're working on, this is, like, one that we're not missing, which is so awesome, bro.
Good Christmas, good holiday.
Yeah, I mean, all of us got sick. That was kind of the worst part, bro. So we missed Christmas Eve. We did Christmas Day, but we were just like, yeah.
Daughter probably has no idea, like, what's going on, right? Yeah.
No, what? She don't know what's going on.
No, like, I'm saying she probably just has fun with, like, the wrapping paper and shit, like, at her age,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's not even there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could put anything in front of her, bro. She has the most fun grabbing the strings on the hoodie and biting them.
Do you ever, like, look at her or, like things like, I don't know, like, I'm sure you do, but, like, or maybe you don't, but, like, yeah, I don't know. You ever just, like, yo, I'm a father. Like, yo, I got a daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bro.
Just, like.
Yeah, it's weird, bro.
You ever just, like, yo, this is my kid. Like.
Yeah. You know, honestly, bro, I not as much as you would think.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, ever since I got married and God put me with the right person, bro, I don't know. I just knew this is the way it's. Of course, I've said before, and people have heard me say this, like, I never really thought I'd be a dad until later in life. But that was like my immature self saying that stuff. You know, that was somebody who wanted to be single, not be tied down, doing that, you know, that whole thing. Kind of a delusion of the youth, bro. That's what I would call that. But when I got older, matured a little bit, realized that I needed to be with the right person, wanted to start my life, do life with. And so it's not really, in a sense, surprising. As much as you would think it is, you know, it just wasn't, because it's like, I know I'm solid with Morgan. I know she's solid with me. It's kind of like, yeah, this is like how it's supposed to be.
It's interesting because I've said this before, like, we are so alike, but in that aspect, I feel like we're completely opposite, because you're, like, married with kid. I'm completely opposite, single, no kids, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that you are one of the few people that I know that, like, genuinely, like, I shouldn't say one of the few people I know, because I'm not just about to sit here and say that everybody's unhappy, but
yeah,
you were, like, if I were to think about off the rip of, like, somebody who's married, wife, kid, family, like, you know, a loyal dude, like, I don't know, like, you're one of the first people that, like, comes to mind that, like, you're, like, completely, you got no regrets, you don't like, I never hear you talk, like,
no,
bad about, like, any of that. Like, you're just happy with it.
Yeah.
Which is cool, you know?
Yeah.
And I just think, it's interesting because it sounds like you were kind of just, like, ready for all that. And weren't scared. Like, I feel like I'm scared of that shit. As much as, like, I feel like maybe I want it, or I'm like, I like the idea of having that. But anytime I've ever, like, been close, or, like, every time, you know, I don't know. I feel like I'm like more scared of it, where you're somebody who's, like, just welcomed it and was like, yo, I'm ready for it. Like,
you gotta be with the right person, bro, because my wife is awesome, bro. Like, she's a super planner. She's super organized. She's super dedicated. So I knew, like all those things that I may lack, she picks up and then some. So, like, when I think about raising a kid, I'm like, of course, there's going to be challenges, but, like, my wife's so over prepared for that it's like, I don't really have to worry about that so much. You know what I'm saying? And now I could, like, we both have a joint effort in raising the baby, but it's just, you're with the right person. So, you know, she's got you, you know, you got her.
okay.
You really don't got nothing to worry about, you know? Like, if you were afraid, it's almost like, if I was afraid, it's almost like of course you'd be afraid of, like, you're like, yo, I'm going to be a dad soon. Like, yo, I'm afraid. Bro, no, I didn't really have too much time for that, bro. All of a sudden it was like she was induced, then she was here, and then it was like, now you got to take care of her. Like, there ain't no real time to be really afraid. Like, I don't know. Yeah, bro.
Okay,
No,
so let me ask
I
you this.
wasn't. I wasn't afraid.
Let me ask you this. Just because I feel like dating is huge in, relationships, dating and love and all that. It's like
Is this where we're going with today?
Well, I guess I didn't really have an intention, but I kind of, now that we're talking about it, I just
Yeah.
want to ask because
All
like,
right.
yo, like for real, like you could argue that like everything comes down to like mating and finding somebody and reproducing and having a kid and a family. Like, why do we strive to do the things that we do? It's like to like in one aspect be able to, like maybe like evolutionarily speaking, like, we all at the end of the day, maybe like are put here to like, reproduce and like have a family. So like I would in that aspect, and maybe not, there's people out there that like being single, like to date around. That's cool. But I'm saying like, you've more or less like achieved that pinnacle of like, okay, found my girl, married, kid, happy.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, like I would say, knowing you, it seems like you're pretty, like I said, you're pretty happy with
man,
your situation.
I'm solid.
So so we talk about, and you say like, okay, you got to be with the right person. I've heard you say that numerous times, right person, right person, right person. If you had to pick one quality or like one, what do you think that like you could speak personally, or maybe you could speak in general? What do you think is one quality to look out for when dating a girl and being like, yo, this is the girl that like I could be with. This could be the mother of my kids. This is the right person. If you had to pick one quality, and you could use it in your personal situation or like,
So one quality that you would look out for when dating.
Yeah, like, okay, this girl does this or portrays this or has this quality, and I'm not saying it is the only one, but one that really sticks out, or maybe in your situation, one that really stuck out to where you were like, okay, dude, this is the person I'm supposed to be with. What would you say if you had to pick one?
I would have to say honest.
Okay.
Honest, just because, but it's funny because like when I got with Morgan, I didn't even, like, I don't know. I don't meet too many people that have a story like me. I dated all types of people. I was with people. I had like, dated long term, short term, all that type of stuff.
Mr. GQ over
No, but I'm just saying, I've dated, and I've realized that me choosing the person was not going to work out, because it takes time to know somebody, especially if you're in a long-term relationship. You might have a great year, 2 year, now year 3, you learn something new. That's 3 years that it took to learn that. I've had that. I've dated people for 5 years. I've dated people for 3 years. I've dated people for 2 years. I've dated people for a month. I've dated people for 3 months. I've dated people for a week. You know what I'm saying? I've had all these different times. My best advice would be pray about who you're going to be with. Because if you don't, you're leaving it all on you to figure it out. And you may think you're some genie when it comes to picking the right people and friends, but best believe, if you always choose yourself will always let yourself down. We know that, So I didn't do that. I dated, and I got to a point where I was like, yo, I just don't want to choose them. And I literally prayed to God. A night when I was out, I said, God, you got to put me with the right person. I cannot choose this person. You have to pick her for me, and I'll know her by what she says to me. And it was a very specific prayer to how I got with Morgan. So when I got with her, I knew God. It just was like aha. It was almost like if she had an aura around her, was like, this is the one. I knew, but I didn't know her from a hole in the wall, bro. I didn't know anything about her past. I didn't know anything about how she was personality wise. We hung out. I asked her to hang out after that Sunday, a week after we kind of reconnected, and God showed me that it was her.
Yeah.
And from there on, we just like started kicking it all the time. And then from there on, we were dating.
And I love that. And I do think that's important. And I do think that's a good idea and a good piece of advice to talk to God about who you're supposed to be with.
100.
But back to the question.
So back to the question, why I choose honest. And like I said, you may find these qualities when you first meet them. You may not. You may find them later on the line. But honest is kind of something that, like,
this is so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like, if someone who's honest, like, you kind of have to be around them for a while to see that they're honest. Somebody could play a lie on you for a year, easily. You would easily play a lie on someone for a year, So I would say honest. Because that's gonna trickle into everything.
I think that's huge too.
What would you pick?
There's two, and I'll tell you why. Honesty would be one. No joke. If had you not say that, honesty, I kid you not, honesty would be one that I would go. But my first thing would be loyalty. Loyalty and honesty are right there, and I think loyalty. I don't know. I think there's part of that just like being a man, like. Okay, so scratch that. One sec. First off, the honesty thing. I think if a girl, if you ask a girl a question, and even if you hate the answer and it's going to piss you off, if she's honest about it, I respect it. And I just don't like to be lied to. My mom always said that growing up, Jeff, nobody likes a liar. Yeah. And I just don't, I would, as much as I hate the answer, like you, I'm like, all right, at least you're honest. Even though I'm pissed, even though I'm not feeling that answer, at least you're honest with me. So it's like, all right, if you're going to be honest at this point, I could trust that, like, she's probably going to be honest the rest of the relationship. So that, I respect that, like, to the T. So I agree with that honesty, but the loyalty, dude, I think the loyalty, man, it's neck and neck, but I think I'd have to say loyalty first, because I think just like the male nature, just like being a guy, like, to me, like, even if you lie to me, like, I don't know, if I was in a situation where like a girl was like, like, it's like, okay, did you do anything with him? Even if she like lied about where she was or this and that, but at the end of the day, if I knew for a fact that like she didn't, there's something, I don't know, there's something about that, like,
they're very similar.
Yeah, there's something about, like, for a dude, like, the actual physical loyalty thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you ever heard, like, people will say, like, for women, it's more like the lying that gets women upset, and for men, it's more like the physical, like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying both aren't upsetting, but I'm saying for me, I think that, like, even if I was lied to, when it comes to loyalty, in terms of like being physical or intimate with somebody, I think that like that loyalty, even if you like lied to me, I think I would still be even more pissed knowing that like you were not loyal to me. But it doesn't have to be, also loyalty doesn't have to be just like intimately or physical or sexual. You know what I mean? Like loyalty meaning like, okay, like if my girl and I had like a huge fight and we're like, she hates me and we want to kill each other, but we're out in public and someone's like being rude to me or giving me shit or this and that, like, you still have you still, even though you want to kill me because we just fought or you're pissed at me, you still have my back in front of anybody else. Like when we're out, we're on the same team always. Yeah. Even if
you got stuff back in the closet.
Even if, yes. So I think that's huge to me. So I think if a girl can show that, like we'll deal with our shit at home, even though I hate you right now, like you're still my man or my girl, and like we're on the same team in front of people. Like we got each other no matter what. So I think that, honestly, I don't know. It's tough, dude. Honesty and loyalty, I think.
They're very similar.
Are right there.
I kind of like how we're going with this, because when I think about it even more, the qualities that you like the best, or like you said, that one characteristic that you would choose is most likely a characteristic that you have. Yeah. You want to see that same thing in another person. Yeah. So that's very similar. You want to be with someone loyal because you're loyal. You want to be with someone honest because you're honest. Yeah. So it's like, what would you say? Because we're in two different places in the sense of like, you're single, I'm married. So I'll ask you to a single person. Yep. And so this all for all you singles, you will get the true advice right here, bro. Nothing better. What would you do? How would you prepare yourself to be ready for that right person?
Honestly,
Yeah.
and I know this is like a controversial take, maybe. Experienced. Like, you need to date. Like, yes, there are people out there who don't date a lot, and maybe a guy meets a girl and they end up together, and or a girl meets her first guy and they end up together, whatever. But like, in my opinion, to prepare yourself to be with the right person is you need to know what the wrong person is, and you need to get experience. Like, you dated a lot of, you've had a good experience dating, like, when you were younger, which is probably why it worked out for you. You knew what you were looking for. Now I may not have a serious girlfriend, but I've had enough experience in my past to where, like, I know what to look out for. I know what I like. I know what I want. I know,
Yeah.
So I would say to prepare, just like anything, dude, like, go back to reps. You know what I mean? It's like, I hate to say it like that. I know it might not be the most, politically correct thing to say, but like, you don't really know what you want in a girl until you figure out what you don't want. And sometimes to figure out what you don't want, you have to experience it.
Yeah.
That's
a deep, because as you're saying this, I'm like,
think about it, dude.
No, like, so I had experiences, but it didn't necessarily shape and tell me who I wanted to be with. And it didn't like show me like, I don't want someone like her. It didn't, because like in the moment of dating somebody, you're caught up in love and not like, you're caught up in emotions, and those emotions are blinding to an extent, so you're seeing a girl who maybe has a, say family issues that are resulting in, making it uncomfortable with her and your family. But you're not really for me at the time, you're not really looking at it as this is someone with emotional problems and traits that I don't want to look forward. You're more looking at them as who they are. Like, this is Stephanie, right? This is Stephanie. So you're just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like the experience could be blinding.
Well, at the time, so like I would, in hindsight.
When I take, because I can only talk about for me, right? So after I had dated, and then I got to that point where I just broke down and I asked God to put me with the right person, it was because I didn't know who the right person was. Like, I don't know. Like, God could have put me with someone who had family problems. And I was like, well, I dated somebody before with family problems. I didn't like that. But here we are. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting because, like, no one's perfect. That's for sure.
True. But I think that with the experience, you could look back and say, okay, like, I've heard you say too, yo, man, like, I've heard you say, like, oh man, like, when I dated her, all we did was fight.
Yep.
Always, you know what I mean? So it's like I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I do agree.
It's bringing it up. Like, it's making me think about,
I do agree, but
yes, experience for sure. It will do it. It definitely will. But as you were saying it, I was just like, wow, like, like at the time, like,
you don't think about it.
To get me to where I am today, it wasn't because I took a group of all the bad and said, I don't want this. And that left me with this. It didn't. It kind of was like, man, I've just kind of spent a lot of time dating and kind of am lost.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what I want. I don't know who I want. I don't know how they're going to act. I know nothing.
Yeah.
That was my surrender moment. You know what I'm saying? And that's sometimes some of the most powerful moments that you have with God is because that's what he truly wants you to do, is surrender. Stop trying to have control of everything. Because when you do that, you're not giving him the permission to move. You're trying to hold on to it. Steer the ship, where it's like, yo, listen, I steer, I don't row. You row, I steer, like the captain ain't rowing the ship and steering it, there'll only be one captain, But no, I agree with you with the experience part, but it was just interesting. It made me think about that.
No, you're right. But it is, I will say, it's tough. Like, I'm sure like people watching this who are, I don't know, It's so weird. I feel like I'm not really sure why, but because I used like dating apps like when I was younger too, but like I don't know, I feel like it was just like so much easier, or like I don't know. I just, or maybe just like my standards were lower, or like I don't know. I just feel like now, dude, it's tough. Like that's why I saw this thing on Instagram, and it was some some like author, or I forget who it was. I almost saved it, and he was like, you need to be like out of the house. And granted, this is probably contextual to certain people, but he was like, you need to like be out of the house. You should be home to get your 7, 8 hours of sleep. But like in terms of like finding success with like networking and like romantic, like being romantic and your social life and dating, he's like, you need to be out of the house. So maybe that's it. Maybe just I'm not like going out enough as much as I used to. I used to be bartender. I used to be out all the time, so it was probably a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Especially now, like with the dating app stuff, like dude, it's so easy. I think it's hard because it's so easy to lose interest when you haven't met somebody.
Mm.
Like, and so I can imagine what like a good looking girl, how easy it is for her to lose interest when like, she's probably got a ton of dudes messaging her, and it's like, you try to set something up or you try to continue a conversation. And I do too. It's like, that's why I feel like being out and being in person is like so much better.
I think so.
Just because, let's say you try to set something up and it's like, okay, well, I don't even really, you agree to do something in the moment. You're like, yeah, cool, I'm down to do this, right? Then the time comes and you're like, oh, well, like, I don't even know if this person's real. I don't know if this person looks how they're supposed to look in person. I don't know. I haven't met this person, so it's not as bad. Let me just like, it's so easy to just like, so it's just this constant cycle of like, it's just
kind of like what you said, where you're like, it was so much easier back then, and I agree, because I was just about to cut you off, and I was like, yeah, it's because your standards have changed.
Yeah,
Things have changed,
and that's why it's like, yeah, it seemed, and I was using dating apps back then, and I had no problem. It's like, but now it's like, dude, I'm just like, if I send it, like, this is just me personally, and girls are like this too. It's been my experience that like you lose it when you haven't met somebody and you haven't had that one-on-one like energy and that energy exchange and the vibe and the conversation. Like, I'm like, if I like say hello or say something, like if I'm not, and I get like people are doing their thing, they're like, if it's like too long of a time period till I hear back, like I'm over it. Like I'm like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's how girls are too. It's like you don't know the person, so it's like, like, it's been, you know what I'm trying to say? It's just these little factors make dating hard.
I get it. I could only imagine.
So until you have that, like, but if you meet someone in person, and you get that experience, like, so it's like, okay, like I met the person, we had a nice conversation. Okay, like I'll go out.
What would be your ideal way to meet that person?
And I think in person is cool.
In person.
And I don't even, honestly, dude, I wouldn't even mind the dating app stuff if it was like, if we could just get to it. I'm just not, I don't know, maybe I just lose patience and I just don't, I'm just like, and I know that like a lot of times girls aren't like that. They kind of want to like talk for a little bit and kind of feel you out and it's not, but like for me,
imagine now.
And it's super hard. Like I said, if a girl hasn't met me in person, all she's going by is like my profile. So like, again, she doesn't know like, if I'm even a real person. Like she doesn't know, there's other factors that are missing. So it's like, you gotta like play a little bit of the long game and like have conversation. Like, and I know this might sound a little bad, but I'm saying for me, it's like, I'm like, all right, dude, like we match. Clearly there's an interest. So like I'm trying to meet like this time, this place. Like,
you done that?
It work. Yeah, sometimes, but a lot of times it's like, it doesn't work like that. And so like, it's just the extended conversation. And I just like, like, I just don't want to put the time in to do that.
Yeah. What's your favorite color and your stone?
Yeah. Like, or even, or like, let's do that in person. Like, so I just think in general, it's, and because on the girl side, I think because the girls have so many options and like they just get so many swipes, or they could just get like through the DMs or like, you know, it's just there's so much stimulus, you know, so it's hard to, I feel like it's even harder as time goes on to get a girl from a match on an app to like out to a restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without that like initial meeting in person, you know, it's even as time goes on, it's even harder to get a girl from the phone
Wow.
out.
Yeah. Man.
You know, and I just seem to not have the patience and to go through that, like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
and you might have to be out more then.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
solution, be out more, yeah, for sure, or yeah, exactly.
You're actually there, you know, and you see somebody like, you could go and talk to them right away, you know.
And it's a distraction, dude. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like I think I just deleted my dating app today, you know, because I found myself, I was like, yo, dude, like, I'm swiping, I'm just, dude, I just wasted mad time doing this. Like, it's just, I'm just like, this is stupid. Like, this is stupid. Not that it's stupid, because not that I don't think it's important, but like, I'm like.
But if that's not the way, that you're not finding luck like that, and you're like, nah, this just ain't it, then you should be out more, bro. You definitely should, you know? There's so many great places to go, bro.
It was nice to be out Friday, dude. It was, like I said, it was nice to be at a cool spot.
You know, like in a month, you pick like, you know, those 3 times that you're going to go out.
Yeah.
That's not that many times, you know?
You got a budget for it too, though. I mean, dude, places, I mean, going out to eat is, not that I'm complaining, like, it's 20, 25 almost. Yeah, it's like, it's, 100, 150, you're right.
Especially the places that you're trying to go. Like, you ain't trying to go to, like, you know, Dave and Buster's, you know? Like, you go into, like, a nice restaurant that has, like, kind of a nightlife kind of loungy feel, you know? Drinks are $15 to $20, like, you know, like.
I mean, I don't drink, but you know I'm getting, like, the appetizer, the entree, the dessert. You know, I'm spending money on food. Like, I'm eating for sure. Like, you know, if she eating, if she eating, I'm eating.
If she eating, we eat. We both eat it.
For real. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like, you know, I don't know. I would just, because I know a lot of people definitely struggle with this. Because finding the right person is not an easy thing, man. Like, I think you first gotta, it's like, I can only talk for myself. Like, bro, I was not like my ideal man when I met Morgan. Not at all, bro. I'm still working on that, you know? So it's not like you could be like so over prepared for it.
Yeah.
But in a sense, ready, you know? You know, be ready.
And I'm not even saying that. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that, like, I'm looking for, like, I'm not even saying that, like, I'm ready for it, but I'm saying even just, like, just that aspect of life, like, just, like, having, like, that social aspect of life, like, going out and being in the right circle and meeting and dating people, like, you know, I used to, but like I said, like, as we age, like, I used to be, you know, your habits change. Like, you know what I mean? I used to be out, you know, dude, like, years ago, I used to be out from, like, Wednesday night to Sunday. Like, I was out every night, like, meeting people, you know?
Definitely. Where that ain't.
Put myself in the right environments to, like, meet people. But now it's like
you can't, with the types of goals you have and stuff, like.
Yeah, it's just not like conducive to what I'm trying to do. Yeah. You know? And not to say I can't go out like once a week or once every, you know, but it's also just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I can make it happen. Maybe I'm just like,
I mean, I guess if it's something, a priority of yours, you'll make it happen, you know. But if it's not, then you kind of can understand why it's like more of a casual dating life, you know, because it's not so serious, you know. Where like you meet certain girls, they're like, no, I'm looking for something serious. I'm not looking for no casual dating, you know. Where that's
like you'll never find a girl that's going to say that, even if they end up casual dating.
Oh, that they're looking for something serious?
Every girl's looking for something serious.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think so. I mean,
honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
I think most of the time, you know, and you know, men, I think, fool themselves. I think they fool themselves.
In what way?
Like, you know, because you got this whole picture, you know, the guy who's got a lot of girls is like the man. The girl who has a lot of guys is a slut. It's stupid stereotypes that are in a sense true in the fact of like the actions people are taking, but they're lying to themselves in the sense of like really happy. Come on. We all know, too, grand scheme of things. Basically, like we fight the natural order of life. Like you were saying earlier, we were put here to be fruitful and multiply. Be here, have kids, multiply, bro. You know what I'm saying? Where it's the same thing. You have a wife, you have some kids, you build a life together. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like you're dating, if you're a dude or a girl who's dating multiple people and you got it like that, you got the bread to be doing it like that, you're wondering who's with you for your money, who's really with you for who you really are. If I was broke, would she really be sitting here? You have so much extra things to worry about. Where, it's almost like the rich person almost wishes to go back to the time where he was at peace. I'm not saying he wants to trade his wealth and trade what he's done and built for himself. Of course not. But to have that, to exchange that for a peace of mind, someone who loves him for him, you know what I'm saying? Where he doesn't have to think, I met this chick when I was rich.
Yeah, you have more things to think about.
It's just like, I just feel like, life's a lot more simple in the sense of things. Like, it's not about all these, like all that stuff is great to strive for. Like I'm trying to strive for big things too, but like, man, like you said it, like you got a home, you got a wife, you got a family, you got your health.
Yeah.
Like you're wealthy already, you're dumb wealthy. It's all that other stuff is just is extra in a sense.
I think the argument is what happens is what I like what you said, dudes will become wealthy. And it's funny that you say that. I heard Ty Lopez say that scientists say that men want to get rich subconsciously because they know it will improve their love life, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And so when you say that, like if dudes like start dating after they become wealthy, it's like, okay, well, does she really like me for me? Or does she just want me because I'm wealthy? But I mean, I don't like Brandon says, like, why would she not like you if you're wealthy? Like, I get it. Like every chick, you know what I mean? If there was two versions of you.
Yeah.
He goes, man, if there was, he goes, imagine your dad, right? He goes, if there was two versions of your dad and they were both identical, right? If they were both identical, two versions of your dad, and one was broke and one was a multimillionaire, which one do you think your mom's going to be with? So I understand that, but, what I guess, I think the argument is that nowadays, where the probability of a girl staying with a dude who doesn't have it like that is less than it used to be years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You saying like be with somebody who's more well off?
I think that I think that as time goes on, compared to like our parents' generation, that like the more successful, educated, and productive career-wise that a woman becomes, the less likely she is to want to be with the dude who isn't doing as well as she is. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
Of course it happens.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I'm saying in general, if you were to look back to like our parents' time compared to now, most girls that are like got it going on, they want just as if she's here, she wants just as much here or more.
Yeah.
For long term.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I think so too. I think so. Because like she knows what it takes to get there and the hard work. So it's almost like, I'm busting.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
I'm busting my ass, and meanwhile, you got half and you're leaving half in the tank.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong. I think a girl I think she has every right to be with who she wants. If she wants a top tier, whatever, cool. I'm just saying if you were to look at it, I think that it's less likely to happen compared to when we were
true. No, I definitely
years ago.
I think so.
I
think so. We have more exposure to it all. People see they see the grass is greener. They see the greener grass.
I was talking to my trainer today. It's funny because I said that to him. I was like, yo, like, I'm not saying it's not important to like strive and be all you can be because we all need money. We all got to make money. But I was just like, yo, I just all day. Like I would much rather be like the dude who was genuinely desired by a chick versus like if I like just had the financial aspect and no other thing and she was with me for that. Like I'd much rather have like the other stuff.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah. Like because that's the true happiness. Like that's real love.
Yeah.
You know, like that's if a girl loves, plays like she loves someone just because they got the funds, those are gold diggers, right? You know, and vice versa. It just usually doesn't happen like that, like usually, yeah, it's just that's the true love,
But to go back to the experience thing and realizing the who was good for you and who was not.
Yeah.
Like I can personally look back to people that I have been with in the past and it was like, man, like they made more money than me. They had their own place when I didn't. They had a nicer car than me. And they treated me like a king, dude, and loved me like, and to go back to what I was saying, it's like you don't realize that until like you lose it or let it go. And you're like, man, like that's the type, you know what I mean? Like she really did like me for me. Like I didn't need to have A, B, C, and D for her to like really want me. You know what I mean? She really did like me for who I was. So it's just that, you know what I mean? So I'd rather have that. Like
totally, man. Definitely, right? Definitely.
But like I said, you're comparing that situation with the situation we just talked about it being harder for girls. Like, you see it a lot, dude. There's a lot of girls that are like, they run their own business, they look good, they make money, they got it going on, and it's like they want,
someone to match that.
Someone to match that.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
Which is not wrong. I don't think it's wrong. I just think it's less likely for her to go with somebody that's unless you're checking off like every other box.
Yeah. I think people match each other, in the sense of like income, work ethic, and those types of things, like, you got two people working blue collar jobs. Most likely they both work blue collar jobs, if they're white collar jobs, they're both like white collar jobs. Yeah, it's such an interesting topic, man.
Isn't it, dude?
Yeah,
it really
man,
is.
it's
like
so different for everybody. It's so different for everybody, but at the same time, you're both looking for that genuine love. Love me for me, and that's it. And we'll build life together.
But where it's okay, so like where it's interesting and where it really comes down to like if you look at like statistics, that all sounds great. Love me for me, but like in reality. And studies show this, and like it just doesn't work like that.
Talking about like divorce rate?
Yeah, like just like everybody would like to,
half.
Like it's more than half, dude.
Yeah.
Like every dude out there would love if we lived in a world and where a girl was just like, and he was just like, no, like I just want you to love me for me. That sounds great.
And vice versa.
Yeah. You're going to find somebody and you're going to find the right person that's just going to love you for you.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't agree with that. I don't. I don't. Yes. Maybe as a dude, you will find a girl to love you for you if you are, handsome, in shape, got a good job, charismatic, good smile, like all that. Like, yeah, maybe then you'll find a girl who likes you for you. Okay. But like to think that you're just not going to put any effort in, or like you're just going to be like a lazy bum or like out of shape and just like that's why it's interesting. There's so many things.
Yeah. Well, it's like, who is you?
Yeah. Like,
like, who are you? And, I mean, as you're naming these things, like, look around, bro. You walk around, right? How many people do you see that are in terrific shape, got terrific jobs, and look great? And I'm not beating up on people, but that is not a normal stat.
Yeah.
70% of people are overweight.
Yeah. But also too, some people got it all going on and they're still single too, and they have that. So it's
true.
There's so many things,
It is.
Or like, and for girls too, like, dude, I I think, for girls too, it's the same thing. Like, oh, I'm not gonna, I know what I want. I know what I want. I know what I want. I'm not gonna settle. I'm not gonna settle. I'm not gonna settle. Okay, cool. But like, you better, you know what I'm trying to
I
say? It's
literally
just like,
can't, I can't like not, like, this is why I ask God. If you look
I
at
know you
this,
don't have to deal with any of this.
but then, yeah, no,
Yeah.
because if you look at the stats, like, look at what it is. This is a product of people choosing their partners
Yeah.
and not letting God put them with the right person, because the right person is there for you. But as long as you're choosing them, you have blinders over your eyes. You have this image of who someone is and how they're going to act,
Yeah.
and where they're going to be from and where you're going to meet them.
Yeah.
Good. Paint your beautiful picture. Make sure you guys grab the same mango at the store
Yeah.
and you go home and slice it together with chocolate strawberries. Enjoy it. Because it
I like the
usually
mango.
doesn't happen,
Yeah.
bro. It just doesn't
Oh.
happen like that. And I did it enough to realize this is not how I want it to work. Now, granted, bro, thank God I've had a relationship with God for a long time in my life. So, but it's so sad to see people think like that.
Yeah.
And when I look at it and I wonder, well, yeah, bro, like at the end of the day, like being with the right person and getting married and having a kid, but bro, like you need to be all set and ready, you know?
Yeah, but I also think you need to be putting effort into being like, dude,
Yeah.
I hear you and I agree with you,
Mm-hmm.
but like, this is just my opinion.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't, and I'm going to use you in your situation. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that if you were like not, well put together, good looking dude who took care of himself and knew how to talk to girls and was on the right path, I think if you were like out of shape and like just a complete bum with no drive and like wearing shitty clothes and had no social skills and had bad hygiene,
Good luck.
that if you were to ask God to put you with the right person, he'd be like, dude, you ain't doing shit with yourself. Why am I going to put you with the right person? So my point is I think that you need to be, I think that you can ask God to put you with the right person, assuming you are doing what you need to do to be attractive to the opposite sex. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. The only thing I disagree with is that's
That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah,
you disagreeing
yeah,
makes me disagreeing makes the conversation interesting.
Of course, because I agree with you in the sense of like, striving to be your best person is definitely great. That takes a special type of drive and vision for a person to strive to be this stellar person that they want to be. My experience, bro, was not that. Bro, I was dating all the time. I was smoking all the time. I was drinking all the time. I was partying all the time. I was around and about all the time. So if you took that philosophy, then God never would answer that prayer. Because we like to think like at the end of the day, bro, we're not God. We can't even think and fathom how he thinks and processes and puts things together. Because,
dude, I'm so sorry to cut you off. I have to pee.
Do
not lose that thought.
No, I'm right here.
Remember that. We're
I'm
not
right
God.
here.
Can't think.
No, I got it.
I'm sorry. I gotta go.
I got it. Here we go. All I was saying before was
Disagreed with something I said.
yeah, no. All I was saying before is like, okay, like working on being the best person you can be, and God seeing that and him blessing you because yes, of course I'll put you with the right person because you're sitting here grinding and you've created this great person, right? Like it just doesn't work like that. Like there's no condition that really needs to be met for God to answer it as long as it's just, I don't know. I don't know his reasoning for it because the only reason why I could say that's not true is because like I was not that. I was completely the opposite of that, bro. Like I was like, no, was I ready to be with the right person? Yeah, I said it, but like all my actions previous to that was not that. I wasn't like,
I get it. I hear
but
you.
I get it. I completely agree because I'm not saying not do that. Like hell, if I could give you advice and say, yo, you want to be with the right person? Yo, first pray and tell God you want to be with the right person and make it specific. Second, work on being the best person you could possibly be. That of course, bro. I wish somebody would have told me that, you know what I'm saying? And I had some advice like that, but it just was a little different, bro. Like I wish I didn't get so caught up in the dating scene. I wish I didn't spend so much time partying. I wish I didn't, you know what I'm
Don't
saying?
you think, okay, so, but do you think that if you had, you don't think that if you had as much experience dating, you don't think that you would have,
Save myself a whole bunch of time, bro. I don't need to date someone crazy to know I don't like crazy.
that's not what I'm saying. Like, I guess what I'm
When I
trying to say
dated
is
them,
that,
I
like,
didn't think they were gonna
no,
be
but like, I'm
crazy.
saying, like, if you didn't like date as much as you did, you think that you still would have been ready to get serious with somebody when you did?
I mean, that's a good question. I don't know.
I guess you'll never really know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I definitely knew ultimately I wanted to do that. Like, I knew like I maybe would have did it later. Like, you know, like I always said, like I would get married when I'm 40. You know, that was like my number. You know, I didn't think it would happen before that. But I knew I wanted to get married. I knew I didn't want to be like this dude who was like single for a long time and, you know, dating around and trying to, you know, like going to the next party or going to the next function. I was tired of that, bro. You know, like I've been to all these different functions and it's just kind of like, I got tired of it, bro. You know, I'm tired of rolling up with my boys or like, I'm like, nah, bro. I'm like, just, I'd rather be doing this with my wife.
Yeah.
You know, having a family, going to different things. You know, I don't know. Just got tired of that.
Yeah.
I got tired of the out scene thing. You know, being out functions. Tired of that. I got tired of it. But yeah, I mean,
Or was it just maybe you got tired of making the objective trying to like hook up and date people?
yeah, I mean, all that. It all comes in like there's no one truly loves to go to a lounge. What the hell is so special about it? Like I'm at this place. It's dark. The bathroom's got water on the ground. The sink is nasty. You can't, I couldn't take a dump there if I had to. It was disgusting. The food ain't that good. Plus they don't even stop going home. They don't serve the food. The place is crowded. I wear my nice shoes. People step on them. I'm getting faded.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
It just is like all in all, like, bro, like even like the nicest New York club lounge, it's still to me lame.
Yeah.
When it's like like, okay, yeah, I'm not saying party. It's not, it doesn't have this fun aspect, but like, is it scalable? Do you really want, I saw it as like, yo, are you really going to be 40 years old going to the club?
Yeah.
Are you going to be 40 going to Geronimo's? You know what I'm saying? Are you really going to be pulling up?
Well, it's different if you're pulling up at 40 with like no chick.
Yeah, but
versus like pulling up with like your wife or like your girl. Like it's different. Like
it's different. And even if I was pulling up and I had like my nice whip, I had all my stuff going together, but I'm like, I still would see those dudes in there that are like older, and I'm just like, I don't want to be like you.
I hear you.
I just don't. Me personally, they might be having a grand old time, bro. Enjoy going out and stuff like that. It just wasn't for me. Late nights, you know, I'm feeling like crap. I'm eating like crap. I'm spending dumb money. I gotta travel here. Who's driving? You know what I'm saying? It was just exhausting after a while. It was just like, nah.
So when you're single, all to really like essentially at the end of the day is to meet a chick. Yeah,
Meet
definitely.
someone,
Yeah.
you know, meet someone and ultimately get you out of that lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know?
Unless it's like, yeah, I think it's contextual too. Like there are certain people that like, you know, you are one of them or like my other boy. Like I definitely do enjoy just going to chill with like the right people and having a nice meal.
Yeah.
For sure.
Totally.
But like, yeah, at a certain point in life, definitely like the main reason you go out, let's be real, is to like, you know,
Meet someone.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like you ain't going
Even
out.
when I was younger, dude, no matter what, it was like in my 20s, like, oh, we're gonna go here. Like, where are there girls there? No, I don't. I'm not going.
Exactly.
Like, where are the girls? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Why
that's
are we
it.
going
Like,
there?
why are we going there? You know?
People would say, "Nah, we're not going there. No one's there on Wednesday nights." Who's no one? Girls.
Yeah, exactly.
not like your boys.
Who's no one? Yeah.
You know, who's no one's there. So it was like it was just this big kind of just random hunt and different nights, and it was just exhausting, bro. It was like, this is not the way to live. Like, I'd rather go do these things, go to these nice places, which wouldn't even be these clubs and these places. It would be like the place next door, you know, like that's like a fine dining, or it turns into a nice lounge where you could just chill and have an espresso or something like that. I'm like, that's what I wanted to go do. I wanted to have nights like that. You know,
This place, the vibe of the place I went to on Friday night was sick.
I'm so about
That like
stuff.
light house beat. like playing in the restaurant, like
Love that
you know,
stuff,
like
bro.
high ceilings,
Ugh.
like just this cool Mediterranean look.
Yeah, you feel like you're on vacation.
Yeah, it was
Almost.
sick.
Oh
Just
man, I'm
like
all about that.
you know,
I want a place. I want a place like that to just be like. I always say, like, I don't know why no one opens one down here. Like, I don't know what they are smoking that they ain't opening a place like that down here. Do you know how popular that would be?
yeah, I think it's just finding the right spot. Like,
I would have took Chowder Pot and turned Chowder Pot into a complete nautical lounge.
but I think it's just like the demographic. Like, nobody thinks like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah.
we were in Fairfield, so like you said, like that's closer to like NYC, like that. You know what I mean? It's different. Like,
You'd be surprised. When a new place opens up, it always gets flooded. It doesn't last because it's not good. You know? How many restaurants went at the Tiki, the Freaky Tiki? Dude, countless.
yeah,
They just never lasted.
because I think it's a demographic. Like,
I think they suck. Like, that's what I think it is. The places suck. Lenny's next door is doing just fine. Hasn't changed a thing. Doing just fine, you know?
yeah, but I think it's just a different type. Well, I guess what I'm saying is like it's a different type of crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. True. I get it. Like, it's like you put a...
like when the place I went to was like, I'm not saying like, for instance, like if you talk about the girl thing, like, I'm not saying girls don't go to Lenny's. So girls go to Lenny's, you know? Girls who went to high school with go to Lenny's.
Compared to Doma.
Yeah, or like,
right?
yeah, I hear you.
Where Doma's more restaurant, like they lean more towards a restaurant, but they do have a nightlife side of them. You know, it's kind of like Pasta Cozy. Like people flood around that little bar. It's because of the vibe it has. It's this Italian, subtle Italian music playing. They're in the center of town. They got the big glass window. You can't move in the bar if it's packed, but people stay. I don't get it, you know? But, you know, it's like, you know, we should open one of them joints, man. I so would be down to do something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but it would be so fun, bro. It would be so fun.
Ideally, you'd want to be able to put up the money to be a partner.
Yeah.
And not have to like do a ton
of
legwork. Yeah.
Heck no.
You
You
know?
go hire a manager, you go hire staff, you go hire bookkeeping, hire marketing, everything, bro. Yeah.
We just shouted out a couple names, man. I feel like at some point we're gonna have to be charging for that shit.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely will. You know? Or we go bash a restaurant. We tell them what I really think. Tell them what I really think.
That is something we should
Penny Albaca.
Dude, we should, 2025 is going to be the year we got to start. I want to have people on, you know, which we talked about in January trying to do. You got that third camera or no?
Yeah. I got, yeah. Definitely.
Just guess, and then maybe, yeah, dude, and then maybe try to get like that like a logo sponsor or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, guys, keep an eye out because we won't be doing it up. This is just the beginning.
Episode 26.
Gone.
Shit. Good shit.
Ah.